See what happens here. And it says live. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. At least it's being consistent now, which is less than I can say for my audio situation here. The audio situation. So let me get the chat up here and see what we can determine. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Testing 1 2.
Being consistent now.
Testing.
Which is less than I can say.
Okay, so we'll wait and see what some of the viewers have to say about the audio situation. And I'll explain what I've done and what I plan on doing about the audio situation. And there's no perfect fix to this situation, and I'll explain why. But hopefully we'll get it as good as we can possibly get it, given the circumstances. So we are starting a little bit early, so we can troubleshoot this audio situation a little bit and kind of explain what's going on and get a little bit of feedback. Maybe Blue Shirt Buddha, Carlos is in the house, and Chi-Town's in the house. Audio seems good. Carlos in the house. And yeah, let me know about the level, if the level's okay. Now, I will not have there's no limiter with this current setup. So if I talk loud, testing 1 2 3, talking loud, did I peak there? Did I break up and peak? I'm guessing it probably would, but I'll try not to do that. So what I did, here's the setup that I had before. Then we'll get into the topic of the conversation at 5 o'clock, the Super 2-watch combo meal deal. There's one of them right there. There's one of them. And here's another one right here. We're going to talk about the less than $10,000 combo meal deal super watches and whether or not that's a good deal. Maybe a couple of dBs lower on the gain. Chi-Town, California. Let me crank it down just a little bit. Okay, cranked it down a little bit. We'll see what kind of feedback we get on that. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Okay, so what I did was I had the Sound Devices Mix Pre 6 that I was kind of using as my audio mixer, if you will. The audio was going into that, and it has great preamps. It's a fantastic recorder. Sound Devices makes like the best recorders in the business for field recorders. And the problem is it doesn't have line output. It only has mic level out in the form of a 3.5 mil. So you can go from mic level out into the mic level in on the Roland. And that is where I was getting some issues with that connection to the Roland. I don't know if there's something wrong with the 3.5 mil input. There's some dirt in there or whatever. I don't know what's going on, but sometimes if you recall in the past, I'd have to wiggle that and we could get rid of the noise, but then it would come back and so on. Then the other problem is the audio from the Roland to the Video Pro. I had it going out over the HDMI, and we were having some problems with that HDMI connection on the Video Pro. I'd have to wiggle that sometimes, and then the problem would go away. So we have, in the chain of custody here for the audio, we had a couple of weak spots. So what I've done now is I've hooked up the Behringer mixer. It's a cheap, about $100 mixer, audio mixer, but it does have line level out. So I've got RCA line level out cables going into the Roland, and that's the other problem is the Roland only has RCA inputs for the audio at line level. It doesn't have XLR inputs. It'd be much better to run XLR because that's a balanced signal. And balanced signals are really good for audio because it cancels out noise. It's really cool. If you're not familiar with how XLR cables work, it's really cool. But the problem is there's no XLR input on the Roland. And then when the audio goes from the Roland to the Video Pro, also that's not a balanced audio signal. And right now I've got it going from RCA to the 3.5 mil input on the Video Pro because, like I said, the HDMI was acting up. So anyway, gain matching between equipment is a total pain, more so with double amplifying. Well, yeah, especially when you can't run balanced audio through the system, right? So you get a weak link. So one thing I've done to get back to high quality preamps and also at least have some limiters, I've ordered one of these, this Asden field recorder, which has 4 inputs, and it does have balanced XLR out. Now I'm going to, of course, have to convert that to RCA to go into the Roland, but at least it does have line level out. So if you look on the back here, on the outputs, you can switch this to mic or line level, these XLR outputs here. And so I will get back to pretty good preamps, probably not as good as the Sound Devices unit, but this, by all accounts, has pretty good preamps. And I will have XLR out, line level out. I will have limiters, and so it should be a step up from the Behringer mixer that I'm using now. So anyway, that's the deal. The highest end headphone audio equipment uses balanced audio, usually either 4-pin XLR or dual 3-pin XLR. There you go. And so that's the problem, is the Roland switcher, the video switcher here, that's this here, is really a prosumer device. It's not really a full-on pro device. Otherwise, it would have XLR inputs for the audio. And then I could run XLR straight from that field mixer straight into it. But then the problem is you still have to get the audio from that to the Video Pro, which, even though it's called a Video Pro, is really not a professional grade streaming box, if you will. I don't even know if they make such a thing. This is still kind of a niche thing, believe it or not. Even though a lot of people stream, a lot of people don't care about the quality of their stream, so they won't buy stuff like this to do it. So it's still kind of a little bit of a niche thing. Okay, so let's we're still a couple minutes before official showtime, so we'll get to the subject matter here in a moment. But to give you a hint, we're going to talk about the two-watch super deal. And remind me, folks, I'll try to pause this at 5 o'clock straight up, because I have a viewer that's talking about alignment issues and all this stuff, and tried to convince him that you really can't tell based on a photograph, based on a camera angle, because like right there, the second hand looks like it's not hitting the hash marks, right? But that's because of the angle of the camera. See, it looks like it's way off right there, right? But in real life, it's hitting those hash marks spot on. So that's why I say, even when we get to 5 o'clock straight up, when that minute hand's straight up at the noon, okay, if that hour hand isn't perfectly in the middle of that 5 o'clock hash mark, it might be the camera. You don't know until you look at it straight on in person. And I have examined this very closely with a magnifying glass, and they're pretty close to spot on. I mean, I can't tell one way or the other. It looks like to me like when it's at 5 o'clock, it's right in the middle of that 5 hash mark. When it's at 10 o'clock, it's right in the middle of the 10 hash mark, the hour hand. So it looks like to me that mine is spot on, and I would think that most Grand Seikos are probably spot on or real close to it. But, when you look at something at a macro level, you're going to show every little thing. Do you have experience with Sony or Sennheiser lavalier mics? I use the Sennheiser AVX system. I really love the Sennheiser AVX system. I had some older wireless Sennheiser EW100, I think was the, for the wireless mics that I had before the AVX system came out. And when the AVX system came out, I bought those, and I got rid of the other ones as quick as I could, because the other ones I had to search for free frequencies at each location. It was really a pain in the neck. The AVX system just does all that automatically, and it also has limiters built in that are really good. So I highly recommend you check out the Sennheiser AVX system. And you can get a kit with the handheld mic and with the lab mic. I got the ones with the MKE2 lavalier mic. That's like the $300 professional lavalier mic that they have. So they sell the kit either way. They sell it with the ME2 mic, which is a much less expensive mic, and then they sell it with the MKE2 mic. But it's the Sennheiser AVX system. I love it. I've got 4 sets of them. Actually, I've got, I think, 5 sets of them. I've got 5 sets of lavs, and I've got 2 sets of the handheld, all wireless. That's what I use when you've seen me interviewing people with the wireless mic. That's the AVX system. And when you've seen me with like a lavalier mic on me, sometimes I'm using the Sennheiser AVX, and it is really a good system. Let's see. My hi-fi at home has XLR. I'm using Bryston amps. There you go. Hi, Craig and all. David Williams in the house. Craig, could we do the water resistance test on the GSGMT we talked about? Absolutely, Tom. We'll absolutely do that. Yeah. How long are you going to be in the chat? Because I'm going to have to take it off the table and mess up my camera angle and all that. So I'd like to do it maybe in 15 or 20 minutes. Let me know how long you're going to be around. But I definitely want to do it before you leave the chat. So if you have to run or something, just say so in the chat, and we'll drop everything, and we'll do the water test. The water test on the GMT. What do you think? A water test? That's what we do around here. We test the gear. Okay, so let's see. Parallax. Well, it's not only parallax, it's also literal distortion in the lens. Actual distortion that can cause effects even beyond parallax. You can spot particles on Rolex dials quicker than misaligned GS hands. That's a good point. Okay, let me refresh this, make sure I'm up to date here.
Effects even beyond.
Okay, there we go. Now, how does the level sound? I did turn it down a little bit. Let me know in the chat what the audio is sounding like, because we're testing all of this. And we're going to see what happens. Okay, so let's get to the topic at hand. We're a minute or two early, but we can start on the topic at hand. So here's the interesting question. If you wanted to spend maximum of $10,000 and you wanted 2 watches and you wanted them both to be robust, heavy use watches, okay? Because that's what I specialize on this channel, because my watches get heavy use, okay? Not abuse, but heavy use. I'm around a lot of equipment. They might get bumped on a C-stand. I mean, I'm always picking up camera gear and moving stuff around. But there's situations where the watches get put through their paces. Okay, I'll put it that way. Audio seems fine. Okay. All right, time to head home. Blue Shirt Peter, I'm listening in the car again. Enjoy the show, guys, later. Okay, sounds good. Hopefully I'll be on for all of the stream. I have to work in 2 hours, but have to get ready whilst listening. Okay, there you go. All right. Well, remind me in about 20 minutes in the chat, and we will do the water test. That's what we'll do. Okay, sounds fine, Craig. Andrew in the house. So what you're saying is I didn't have to spend $500 on this field mixer? Okay. I don't mind having it anyway. It's a nice piece of kit to go along with my my Mix Pre 6 field recorder. That'll be a nice combo meal for sound gear. Andrew says sounds fine. Carlos says safe drive. Okay, so $10,000, and let's say you wanted 2 watches that could handle a lot of heavy use. Like this watch here, it's got a screw-down crown. It's got a nice durable case, nice durable bracelet. It's more trim than this watch, so it can be forced into a dress watch situation. We saw the other day, I had it underneath my shirt cuff, no problem. It's nice and trim. So from a combination meal deal combo, this could be your heavy use with the sleeves rolled up, just down and dirty watch. And then when you need something a little more elegant, or you're traveling or whatever, you need something a little more versatile, right? Something that's smaller. That one's 39 mils, whereas this one is 44 mils, right? This one's 14 mils thick, whereas this one is 12 mils thick. We've seen how trim it is on the wrist and how it forms to the wrist. It's very, very nice. Super comfortable as well. Both these watches are very comfortable. So if you needed something for heavy use in almost any circumstance, these two watches, I think, would be the go-to pair. I think it would be hard to beat them. Because now I'm not talking about a dress watch in the sense of you're an attorney and you're always dressed in a suit and tie and you need something really elegant like a Patek Calatrava or a Day-Date or something like that. I'm talking heavy use, all-arounders that between the two of them that you can deal with almost any situation. Because this could be worn as a dress watch. It absolutely could. It'll go under any shirt cuff. It looks very nice. Is it as nice as a solid gold dress watch, yellow gold dress watch? No, not really, but it can. I mean, we're talking about under $10,000 for two watches here. So we're not talking about, a $50,000 budget. If there's a $50,000 budget, we'd be talking differently, right? So I think those two watches, this one and this one, it gives you a pretty good scope of use, a pretty good, checks most of the boxes. What do you guys think? I mean, am I off base or do we have something going on here? Let's see here. My 2-watch rotation for 10 grand Rolex Oyster Perpetual 39, white dial, and Tudor Pelagos. Yeah, you lost me at the Tudor. I would pass on the Tudor. Or new Omega Seamaster Professional at a discount. That would probably be a good rotation. Yeah, the Omega and the OP. The problem is you would have to keep wearing those quite a bit because those are both automatic watches. So you would have to rotate and give them both some wrist time, or you're going to watch out. So one of them is going to be stopping on you from time to time. So you'd have to be careful about that. That's what I like about having one as being the 9F. If I leave that off wrist for 4 or 5 days, I don't have to worry about it. I know I'm going to pick it up. It's going to be running, dead accurate, and it's a non-issue. And of course, both of these watches are spot on, dead accurate. So you're not going to get that, of course, with the Rolex or the Omega. So there's that. Tudor left-hand drive and new Rolex Datejust 36 mil for me. Yeah, I'd pass on the Tudor, but the Datejust 36, absolutely. And Tom in the house, very good 2-piece meal deal. R-Wags, Craig, for the 10K, does this only include new watch purchases? Well, I was figuring on, yes. I was figuring on new, and I was figuring on it. You're going to get a discount on both of these watches, this one and this one. That's why you're going to be able to get them under 10K, because this watch is 7,100 list, and this one is 3,200 list. So list price, they total up to a little more than 10K, but you can get a decent discount on both. So you're definitely going to get them well below $10,000. So yeah, I was talking about new from an AD, because when you talk about used, you open up all kinds of potential issues, right? Buying used, and is it a real watch, and you get scammed, and all these issues. So let's talk about new from an AD. And I'll tell you what, in this day and age, this is because I'm getting old, I think from now on, all my watch purchases are going to be new from an AD. I don't think I want to mess around with buying used watches at this point. first of all, I'm pretty set with what I've got right now, I think for a while. And like, for example, if I buy a Date 840, if I get one for, let's say, $28,500 new, I mean, yeah, maybe I could get one for 25 used, but hey, get one new, get all my name on the paperwork and everything, know what I'm getting, know the deal. I think it's worth paying that extra money. Let's see, seems reasonable. I would choose something like Explorer 39 and something more as a beater, not sure what as a second, Oris. Hey. That watch there can take a heck of a beating. I think I'd rather have that than Norris. So there you go. And it's nice to have a 9F in the house, I'll tell you what. Something you can grab and go and know it's going to be spot on accurate. My high beat diver lists at 9,700, so I only have enough left for a G-Shock. Warren in the house. Warren stepped up with the one watch. Well, you're just going to have to wear that one watch. That's what I say. You can have a one watch rotation. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a one watch rotation, folks. I would love to get down to a one watch rotation. If I had a subscriber that absolutely wanted this watch, okay, I'd probably give them a deal, and I'd probably wear this one, right? That one right there is a one watch solution. I really like that watch, folks. I mean, I really like that. That GMT is really growing on me. I'll put it that way for you. Okay. We are talking quartz watches here. Well, no, we don't have to. It doesn't have to be quartz. These two, one of them's a spring drive, and one of them's a 9F, and so yeah, they both have a quartz element to them. But no, I mean, this could be any watches. Then I would rotate a nice Rolex Datejust as an automatic for dress purposes, and a Casio G-Shock with a timekeeping as a beater. Can get both at ADs. There you go. Absolutely. For me, Craig's GMT Rolex Datejust 36. That would be a heck of a rotation. That would be a very nice rotation. Because you could beat the heck out of that GMT. It's going to take a beating. The 9F movement is known for being very robust. So when you don't want to put your Datejust at risk, you could put the GMT on. And if you're traveling or something like that, you could take the GMT for that GMT functionality and let the Datejust rest at home. That's how you could do that. Let's see here. The problem with Oris is that they don't give very good accuracy guarantees. Okay. Pre-ceramic sub and older Datejust, you could probably still get them for $10K. Okay, yeah, we were talking new, but okay. And in that case, we'll give you a pass on the new requirement, because I wouldn't recommend somebody buy a new sub anyway, because I don't like the lugs on them. I like the pre-ceramic sub anyway. So yeah, I think that's a good move. I think that's an absolutely RJ Lane in the house with a good. The pre-owned rule is it has to be new rule, does not apply to anything with maxi cases. So you can go pre-maxi case, and that's you'll get our blessing here. You can't buy two new watches from an AD for under 10 grand. You can't buy two new ones. Oh, no, these two you can. This one right there and this one. Steve will sell them both to you for less than 10 grand as a package deal. I guarantee it, he will. Guarantee it. Including tax. Out the door, folks. Steve's going to say, I didn't say that. Nah, he'll do it. Tell him I said so. Let's see what else we got. Warren's in the house. He says, hi, Andrew. Okay. Maybe not at Datejust RS. Oops, I mean Rolex ADs. All right, so it's getting close to the water test, the H2O test. Let me go get a container with some H2O, and let me get a some kind of a towel. Maybe I'll get a microfiber cloth. All right, so study the time there. Oh, shoot, I forgot to do the straight up 5 o'clock thing. Sorry about that. We're going to have to do straight up 6 o'clock. All right. So you guys got to remind me of these things. I don't, I'm not going to know on my own. The new Pepsi and a Timex. There you go. R.J. Lane. New Pepsi. All right, let me go get get some H2O to dunk this watch. Okay, we would only do this for a subscriber, by the way. And we don't do this for just anybody off the street. Okay. So here is the GMT position here. Here is the GMT. Here is the H2O. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pin here, use it as a holder. Okay, that should work. All right, are you ready for this? Let me know in the chat, guys, if you think I should do this or not. Should I dunk this watch? Should I give it a good dunking? Let's see here. Well, there's a delay, so I'm going to go ahead and submerge this. Are you ready? Here we go. We're submerging it. There you go. All right, it's in the drink. All right, now let me switch back to camera 3, and I'll go ahead and put it over there, put the camera on it. Okay, I don't know what I'm focused on there, but as you can see, the GMT Master, not GMT Master, the Grand Seiko GMT, I owned GMT Masters for years, is in the water, and you can see some water bubbles going up on the outside of it, not inside, but so far, no water ingress. Let's see. Hopefully no bubbles. R.J. Lane in the house. There goes the investment potential. Dunk it. Scene says dunk it. Real experiments on this channel. Tom is in the house. You would need a glass 30 stories high to start to doubt it. CraigShipp, the science guy. Well, here's the deal. I do not, and you can see some water bubbles going up on the outside of the unit. You know, on the outside of the case, some little air bubbles going up. That some stuff that was trapped in the bracelet and stuff like that. So here's the thing. I don't dive with my watches, but I do take them in the water in like I said, in a hot tub or whatever, or swimming in a pool. So I just need to know it'll go down 20 feet, not even 20 feet, 10 feet. I'm good, right? That works for me. So we'll see. I mean, if I get in a couple days or so, if I get some condensation on the inside of the crystal, any kind of indication that any water got in it at all, I will be the first one to tell you guys. I'll tell you guys straight up. I got accused the other day of being a fanboy because I questioned the photos of watches and whether or not you can really tell if things are out of alignment but from a photo. It's like, I'm from Missouri, I got to see it, right? Hey, I call it the way I see it, though. If I see it with my own two eyes and I see something that I don't like about a Grand Seiko watch, I will point it out on this channel. I've already pointed out that I think it should have micro adjustments. I've been very vocal about that. It wouldn't kill Grand Seiko to make a couple different clasps available. I mean, Rolex doesn't even do that, but why not do that? I mean, when you buy a car, right, sometimes you can get different wheels and tires on it. Sometimes you can get different seats, different interior, There are different ways you can customize the car right from the dealership. Why can't I get a different clasp? What is so hard about that? What is so hard about that? RJ Lane in the house says, I wonder if Steve is watching. Is that water or Jen? It's water. Let's see. Warren says, I washed the dishes wearing my Deep Sea earlier. Well, yeah, absolutely. If you're watching for the first time, don't call 911. Too many people, baby. They're too... Okay, we already read it. I think you have your Sarasota watch right there, Craig. There you go. Cheetown, California. H2O ingress is a feature of some brands. I hope Gary and Joe from GS are watching. David Williams. Well, you guys can put the link in the Grand Seiko Owners Club if you want. You can say that Craig just dunked his Grand Seiko GMT live on the air and it's in the water right now. You go ahead and share the link. I don't care. Let them know. They'll see it. Let them come on in here. Come on in the house. Some brands are more reliable in the water than others. Well, we're going to find out, Tom, if Grand Seiko can handle it. As one does and should. Patek Philippe Calatravas without screw-down crowns, Omega Seamasters, and Breitling Navitimers can't be submerged. Yeah, it might not be a good idea to. Here's the thing. I want this watch to be reliable when I need it to be reliable. It can't be a guessing game. If I'm out traveling, I'm doing stuff, I'm doing business, I'm doing things that are time sensitive. I need my watch to work. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I do a lot of things that are time sensitive, and I need it to work. It's a tool for me. Absolutely it is. This could be my new screensaver. Well, it's not that clear. And here's the thing. I mean, I could have just put it in the H2O and just taken it right out immediately, right? And wiped it off. I mean, any watch can pretty much survive that. Just about any watch, right? But when you leave them in for a while, that gives that water some time to try to work its way in. And you know how H2O is. It likes to work its way into places. That's what it does. Okay, so let me refresh this whole thing and just make sure I didn't miss anything here. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're caught up on the chat. So, what do you think? What do you think? Should we put the diver in next? Let me know in the chat. Should we give the diver a dunk? The titanium Grand Seiko diver, this monster here, should we give it a dunk? What do you guys think about that? There's the question for you. Here, this is what we do on this channel, is we put it out to the viewers and say, what do you guys want? What do you guys want to see? Apple Watch, NextX Apple Watch. I have the Generation 1 Apple Watch, and it is not reported to be waterproof, but everybody says it will handle this sort of thing. But I am not going to put my Apple Watch to the test because it's not. The new ones, the current one, is swimmable, but mine is not supposed to be, so I'm not going to risk that. I need to do a series of tack light tests now. I suggest running over with a tank. I did some flashlight durability tests here on my channel. I've got one where I ran over it with a car and we threw it out like the second story window, and we did a lot of severe abuse on a flashlight, and it was working fine. We froze it solid in the freezer. Yeah, we did a lot of stuff to it. So anyway, let me know. Let's see. Will Archie dunk his Patek live on air? I doubt it. Do you think Bitcoin will take another dip anytime soon? Watch Reaper. I'm looking for a 40% pullback, and that would be my buy number if I'm going to buy some more. But I can't tell you for sure, but that's what I'm looking for, is a 40% pullback. And how soon? I don't know. But the longer it goes sideways at the current amount, it could be consolidating. It could be getting ready for another leg up. It's hard to say with Bitcoin. Bitcoin does what Bitcoin does. Cheetown, California, why submerge a Navitimer? It's a pilot's watch. Well, pilots sometimes go in the water. Thanks for the experiments. Good content, in my opinion. Tom in the house. Dunk it or it will get jealous. Steve is in cardiac arrest. Our Wag's in the house. The seals should be fresh on the GMT, so it will be fine. Thomas in the house. What about the diver? It's a year old. Should I dunk the diver? I got one that says dunk it. I mean, it has nothing to do with GS. I have one that says dunk. I got to hear more dunks before I'm going to run over it with your Prius, Craig. GS can take it. There you go. Warren in the house. I bet you it could take it, too. We'll do that someday. We'll run over it with the car. To watch time. David Williams. What we got to do, when next time I'm at one of Steve's events, when he's got the mobile camera, he's going to get the wireless camera rig over there. We'll take the watch out and we'll put it on the pavement. And we'll wrap a towel around it so we don't scratch it up too bad. And then we'll drive the Prius right over it and see if it like pops the crystal out of it and stuff. We'll see what happens. Let's see. What time? Okay. If you live in Florida, you understand how important water resistance is to avoid humidity in the watch. It's not always about being underwater. R.J. Lane in the house. Absolutely. It's about keeping that movement insulated from anything that can harm it. Dust, anything that can get in there and harm it. Dunk that diver, says Cheesetown, California. Well, so what do you think, guys? Give the GMT a break and dunk the diver. Thomas says dunk it. Hula hoop test next. Absolutely. That would be awesome. All right, let me go over and get the water. Get the H2O. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to take the We're going to take the GMT out. Okay. The gorgeous GMT out of the glass. There's going to be some troll that's going to say that this was all fake and that there wasn't really any water in the glass and all that. You know how they're going to do. So anyway, I'm doing this, wiping it off a little bit. Just gave it a little bath. Okay. Somebody's going to say, hey, you're wiping it with that microfiber cloth. That'll scratch it all up. Like, yeah, right. Like I care about a few scratches. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do now is we are going to take this one off, take the diver off wrist, set it over here just for a moment. I'm going to put this beauty on wrist. Okay, that beauty's on wrist. And guess what? It's running. It's still running. I don't see any H2O inside it. It looks gorgeous. Look at that profile of that watch. All right, now we're going to take the diver and we're going to close the clasp on it. Okay. So it'll be about right like this in the water, in the H2O. We're going to lower it in the water. Okay. Right goes in the water. Goes right in the water. There she blows in the water. We're going to take her over to the camera. Notice I didn't even check the crown. I didn't even check to see if it was screwed in or anything. I just put it right in the water because that's how you would do, right? If you're going in the water, you're not going to check. Okay, so here we go. Let's go over to the camera. Okay. I've got it upside down. The diver watch is going head first. Oh no. Oh no, it's gone head first into the water. Look at that. It's going right in the water head first. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. That spring drive is running upside down in the H2O. Wow. Can you imagine that, folks? Let's see here. Don't drive over your watch, Craig. You'll damage your car. Andrew, the GMT should stay water resistant for years because you hardly ever need to use the crown, so the wear and tear is minimal. Same thing with the spring drive. I only change it on months I only unscrew it when the month has less than 31 days. That's the only time you have to unscrew it because you have to change the date. Other than that, you don't have to unscrew it because of accuracy. Let's see here. Hey, Craig, micro adjustments on a bracelet is such a small accommodation for a timepiece costing several $1,000s. Yeah, but they don't listen to me. That's the problem is the watch designers don't listen to me. Okay, and let's see. Are you crazy, Craig? Well, yeah. Check the crown, Adam says. Nah, I mean, hey, this is real life stuff. If you're on a boat and somebody pushes you off the side, they're having a party, you're having fun, somebody pushes you off into the water, you don't have time to check the crown. This is like real world stuff here, folks. Spring drive in the water, guys. There you go. Extreme series equals GS plus laundry. There you go. Adam says, nice. Look how much higher the water level is. Well, there you go. We've got an engineer in the house. Scene is all over this. What are you wearing, Craig? This is the GMT. The Grand Seiko. Is it SBGD005? I forget the model number. Somebody put the correct model number in the chat for this GMT. Grand Seiko GMT. That's what's on my wrist right now, if that's what you're asking what I'm wearing. Talking about clothing, I'm wearing a Egyptian cotton safari shirt from the original Banana Republic when they were based out of California when it was a couple selling these things. and they sold some really high-end travel and safari type clothing and stuff like that. That's what this is. It's about a 30-year-old shirt. I bought about a dozen of them. I've only got about 2 left that are still in real good shape. I've worn a lot of them out over the years. Let's see here. Let's see what else we got. No more gold stunners in the rotation. Not right now. I don't have a gold stunner right this minute. That's right. Grand Seiko rocks, says Jocko. SBGN005. Tom with the model number right in the chat, folks. That's how that works. These folks are on top of things. Absolutely right on top of things. Let's cut to the diver, see how it's surviving there. There it is. That spring drive is still going around. It's diving head first. And you see there is an air bubble there next to, on either side. That's interesting how symmetrical that is. On either side of the lugs, you notice there's an air bubble? On either side of the lugs there. There are 2 air bubbles. I'm sure that didn't come from inside the watch. That came from probably inside the bracelet. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. SBGE 215 beats the pants off the GMT Master 2. Robert in the house. In my car listening, heading home. PG can't see the watch being dunked in the H2O because he's just listening to audio. If you have a Bunsen burner, you can recreate the hot tub effect. R.J. Lane with a suggestion in the house. A hot tub test. They look like Archie's horns. Oh, boy, that's not good. Come on. You know, by the way, these guys should have never been making fun of him and talking about his horns and all that stuff. I mean, that's not kind at all to make fun of people's personal appearance. Even if he jokes about it and acts like it doesn't bother him, trust me, it's not good to do that sort of thing. Next week on the channel, Craig goes to Mars with the spring drive. A trip into space, folks. R.J. Lane is laughing. Tom is laughing out loud, and Thomas is laughing at Warren Snook. Okay, a lot of people are laughing. All right. Well, there you go. That's titanium. And by the way, titanium is much more resistant to corrosion than even the best stainless steels, especially that alloy of titanium is extremely resistant to corrosion. That's another advantage of titanium. Not only that, but its thermal properties. And this particular alloy is very tough stuff. It's 1.5 times harder than the stainless steel that Rolex uses, for example. So it's very tough stuff. It looks very good. It doesn't look like your ordinary titanium that looks very flat and very gray. This looks very good. It's got better thermal properties. It's more durable. It's more anti-corrosive. And it's more comfortable on wrist. Other than that, it's about the same as stainless steel. If you can't have a good laugh on this channel, you're not breathing. Our Wags is breathing and laughing all at the same time. Can you imagine that? Our Wags he's probably out lounging by the lake house with a slight breeze and a mint julep in his hand and just relaxing back, wearing like a date 8, a bark finish date 8. Not a care in the world. Getting ready to check out the sunset in a couple of hours. That's the life, hanging out on the beach, hanging out on the lake there. He's probably got a little sailboat that he can go out and tool around in. Got it all hooked up over there. Let me see here. I'm checking a few of my tabs here to see if there's anything that we need to go over before I wrap this puppy up. There's a bunch of stuff in here still from when The folks from Adventure Park were here. They had a bunch of tabs open. Let's see. What else does it say? David Williams, R. Wags agreed. We take subject matter seriously, though we do not take ourselves seriously. Caseback is stainless steel. Yes. No, Carlos. The caseback on the diver is titanium. The only thing that's stainless steel on the diver is parts of the clasp, if not all of the clasp, is stainless steel because they took it from the Marine Master. But no, the rest of it is titanium. So there's that. Let's see here, Craig. I would be honored if you would take in consideration this request to join the wrench gang. Carlos. Oh, Carlos would join the wrench gang. Well, absolutely. Now, how do we know David's in the house, Andrew's in the house, Tom's in the house. How do we know if this is the real Carlos? Okay, that's the question here. How do we know if that is the real Carlos at 5:36 p.m.? Thomas says you're in, Carlos. But Thomas, you got to answer that question. How do we know this is the real Carlos? I vouch for, we all vouch for Carlos, but the question is this the real Carlos, and how do we determine that? Right? That's the question. Because Carlos had said previously that he didn't want to be a member of the wrench gang, and now he's saying he wants to be a member. So I'm a little curious as to whether or not this is absolutely, positively Carlos, and how could we determine that? Maybe Carlos should call in on Skype and verify over Skype. What do you guys think? Should he call in on Skype? Should we require Carlos to call in on Skype and show his date 840 to confirm that it's him? I think so. I think we should require that he call in live right now. Let's cut to the diver and see how it's doing. I think he should call in right now and confirm that that it's him live on the air. What do you guys think about that? How's that for verification? Ask Carlos what he was drinking when he called in with his submerged day date. The problem is I don't remember what he was drinking that day. Do you remember, RJ Lane? I guess you remember. I vote for the real Carlos even though I don't have voting rights. Warren in the house. Well, Warren, you got to get an icon instead of having that default icon. I vote for the real Carlos. Yes, Skype in. Okay, Skype in. Skype in, Carlos. If you don't Skype in, sounds like that might be him. Let me answer the call.
Rights. Warren in the house.
Okay. Let me get the headset here so I can hear you. All right, Carlos, turn the camera the other way.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got, in order to verify that it's actually you need to show us the date 840. Do you have it?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, show us the date 840 because we got to make sure this isn't somebody impersonating you.
Yeah. We have to take the security measures.
Oh, look at that puppy there. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's something important, the security of
Okay, there we go. I just gave you a wrench. You just got a wrench.
Oh,
Carlos
great.
is in the house and he's got the date 840. And so he's got a wrench now. There you go, folks. That's how that works. That looks good. All right, so bring us up to date. Come back on camera. Bring us up to date. What's happening down there?
Okay. I am going to put the tripod, then will be more
Yeah,
comfortable.
Tom says Tom says it could be fake Carlos in a very good mask on Skype. Well, that's why I asked him to show the Date 840. That's the exact reason why I wanted to see the watch. Absolutely, because it could have been anybody pretending to be Carlos.
Yeah. Regarding what I was drinking the other day, I don't remember a kind of aged rum. We
Okay.
were several people in the pool, and here it's very common that, nevertheless, it was a resort. It's very common that you just get what you want in your cooler, and I don't know. I think that it was Zacapa rum, but I
Okay.
don't remember.
Well, Andrew says you can't pull the wool over Craig's eyes. So there you go. That's right. We're double check everything. He's got a wrench now, though. David Williams says identity verified. R.J. Lane says it's 3 seconds off. It's not him. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. By the way, how accurate is your watch these days? How's it doing? How's it running?
It's still going a bit late. Not sure how much. Maybe 1 second, 1.5 seconds.
Wait. Are you saying slow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That a bit slow. I would prefer if it would be fast, but I am not really concerned, and it's something that really worries me, honestly. But I will prefer.
Yeah.
If at any time I will have to service it, I will request to change that. But I think that it doesn't. For me, at least, it's not a reason to do any kind of modification. In fact, I was thinking originally on replacing the date wheel, the day wheel with the weekdays in Spain for a Spanish version of it. That apart and that I am unable to read it, I decided not to ask to open the watch. Maybe when I need to service it for whatever, I will request to make that change, and maybe at that time. Yeah, but I am not worried. But the other day, I think that someone told, I don't know what was the brand. I think that was Grand Seiko, that they had a tolerance of -0 plus 2 or whatever. I think that is a very good idea to remove that possibility of being slow and being in a specification.
Wait, you mean they changed the specification so it doesn't say it can be slow?
No. I think the other day on your channel, someone said, or you, that Grand Seiko specification is -0 plus 2 or whatever.
Oh no, I don't remember me saying that. I'm not sure what I don't know exactly what the the specification I know on the 9F is 10 seconds a year. But what I was saying when I was talking about that is Grand Seiko always under promises and over delivers. Usually their watches do a lot better than they say. Like, for example, my spring drive is within a second a month, and it's only supposed to be within 15 seconds a month. And so it's doing a lot better than they claim. I think Grand Seiko is conservative on their estimates, even on their automatic watches. I think they're conservative on their estimates. I think they generally perform better than what they estimate. And I've heard a lot of Rolexes do that too. Dudley said that his Date 8 is performing very well, very, very accurate.
Yeah, no, for sure, it's very good. In fact, I think that the watch that I had that was more precise was the Daytona that I sold. I think that was like half a second per week or 1 second per week. That was very, very. I think that the best one that I've had.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change to these other earbuds because these headphones are not very comfortable. I don't know why they're not, but they're not. Let me see if I can put these on, if I can hear you.
And
Okay.
really, Craig,
Yeah.
regarding that thing that you said yesterday of
Mhm.
closing the channel, forget it. I don't know how to say.
Oh boy. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, there's some people were saying that that we've pretty much had the best shows we can have. We can't really top this. I mean, we had you come in with your date in the swimming pool. I mean, how can you top that, right? What can you do? Well, maybe we can have you jump out of a helicopter, and you can have your date on.
yeah,
That would be good. If you
no,
could.
I think that something that we can do is try, as you have been doing, try to do more content together with the participants of the channel and to share the things. I understand that also for you, probably after these years,
Mm-hmm.
probably something trying to look for a new topic every day or 3 times per week probably
Yeah.
is
Okay. All
something
right.
that,
Now we've had a request that I set the watch up so that we can check the time at 6 o'clock. So we got 14 minutes left. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go over and I'm going to set up the GMT back on the camera. You're going to have to entertain them
yeah.
for a minute or so while I do this. So you go
Okay.
ahead and entertain them, and I'll be right back.
Okay. I am very bad entertainer. I don't know. I am going to look at the chat like Craig does. Is anybody that wants to ask me something or whatever? No, but I think that I don't know what you think. I think that it would be great to make, for example, we have been told before about ladies' watches. For example, it would be great if, for example, we will have a lady that is watching the channel that I don't know if it's really that kind of sick woman exists. I think that probably we are more men, the kind of people that are sick on this sickness. But will be great to, I understand, to speak and to treat how the ladies look at the watches. In my case, I have my wife look like the watches on a very different way than us. She in no way would be will be willing to appear here. I think that she thinks that I am a kind of crazy or whatever for appearing here. But I think that could be a good idea, or maybe just sharing the collection from our wives or partners or whatever. I think.
Okay, Carlos. I'm back. I'm gonna put the watch right next to you. Let me do the FX number B. There we go. Let me get you centered on here. Okay, so we got you right next to the watch, so they can watch you and the watch at the same time. There's some dust on the watch, so that it is what it is. I didn't take the time to wipe that dust off, but we're gonna be able to see the alignment issues if there are any at 6 o'clock. At straight up 6 o'clock, a little more than 10 minutes from now. In the meantime, they want you to show your watches. That's right. That's what they're asking. They want to see your watches. So, and they want you to do the water test.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I could do it on the hot tub, but
yeah, that's right. You're going to have to go out to the hot tub and get in the water. But Bill, hey, but don't get your phone in the water. I don't think your phone is going to handle it. The phones, the new phones are waterproof though. The newer ones are waterproof.
Yeah, but if you want, I don't have any problem on doing. But you saw it in the pool, and
Oh, they want
I
to
go
report. They want to report on the Patek. They're asking about the Patek.
No, basically what I've written before, I took the decision after my trip to California. I took the decision of going for the 5196.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't able to see the yellow gold. I was able to try the rose gold, like yesterday you saw on the photo.
Yes.
And surprisingly, I checked in every AD in South California, and nobody had the yellow gold version.
Okay.
There, one of the dealers had one on a different branch in New York, but we didn't reach an agreement on the price. Then what I did was through a family contacting an AD in Madrid originally. They didn't have it the yellow gold neither, and they are supposed to ask to Patek for if they will be able to source it for July. That will be the time when I will be in Madrid.
Yeah.
I haven't received from them really an answer yet. It seems that they have that kind of training with them.
Sure.
But looking and taking in consideration that it seems that it is going to be a price rise in Patek of around 4% this next June.
Yes.
I started to call other IDs in Spain, and in one of them they had the watch.
Okay.
They had the watch in Barcelona.
Good.
In Barcelona branch. I hope that works well, because Madrid people and Barcelona people don't goes along very well.
Yeah.
That's joking. And now I paid a deposit, and now it's waiting for me in Madrid's AD. I tried to. It was that was an ID that I didn't have any kind of personal contact or reference, and nevertheless, I managed to have to get a little discount, 5%.
Good.
Not
good.
a lot, but considering that is by the phone, I was more or less happy. And also, I on the last time I also requested to have an extra strap, and they agreed to it.
Very good.
And I contacted other IDs more or less at the same time, and for whatever reason, it seems that there are, like they say, high demand on that reference. I was thinking that probably will be a reference that is common in the IDs, but it seems that not. Probably something that happens on any Patek reference. I don't know.
Now, we do have a comment in the chat that I have to deal with here. Christopher Shea commented, quartz watches absolutely go down in value, right? ? At least my Omegas did. Yes, I would say that a quartz watch, almost any quartz watch, is going to go down in value. Most watches, when you buy them, go down in value. It's a myth to think that watches do not go down in value. And here's the thing, Christopher. Even if a watch holds its value, which there might be a few that might hold their value, in other words, not lose value, every 7 years you've lost money, because if you invested that money properly, it would double every 7 years. So if you invested $10,000 today in a good, solid investment, you should expect to have $20,000 7 years from now. If you buy a watch for $10,000 and 7 years from now, it's still worth $10,000. In other words, it didn't lose money. You actually did lose money because you didn't make money on that money. You didn't get a good return on that, quote, investment. So that's why people should not think about watches as investments. They should think about them as luxury items that they buy to enjoy. And it's money spent, not money invested. There's a huge difference between spending money and investing it. And the term investment is used way too often around the watch world. Watches are not investments. And if you're thinking of them as an investment, it tells me that you probably shouldn't be buying the watch in the first place. It's probably not a good move to be buying it. Because it sounds like to me you probably can't afford it, and so you shouldn't be buying that watch. You just invest money in a real investment. That's my advice here on this channel. Okay, so my 2 vintage Heuer quartz divers have gone up 10 times in value over the past 3 years. Well, there you go. Warren in the house. He's bucking the trend. And Christopher says, good points. Okay, there we go. Thinking Rolex, Wimbledon, 10K, which one is best? Green dial, then a used GS diver. See, here's the thing. Like I say, if you get a good deal on a GS diver, like the one that I have on my wrist right here, I mean, let's say that you can buy it for $5,000. This is a $7,100 list price watch, right? So let's say you buy it for $5,000. And I did a video about this. I said, let's say instead of buying a Rolex for $10,000, you bought this for $5,000, and you took the $5,000 that you didn't spend and you invested it in something, a proper investment. You'd come out way ahead of the game over time, right, by doing that. Carlos is putting a bunch of watches up. Here we go. He's getting a bunch of them up, and we're going to have to switch back to my watch here in a couple minutes. We're getting up close to the hour, so we've got to remember to do that. But Carlos is getting a bunch of watches out, so I went full frame with Carlos. There you go, folks. You wanted to see his watches. Uh-oh, one of them's taking a tumble. Uh-oh. This is a very fluid situation here, folks. Very fluid. Very fluid. And he's moving things around. Look at this. This is action. This is the real deal right now. This isn't staged. This is the real thing.
Those are.
That's right.
Watches from my wife. Originally, I asked her to give me the one that she was wearing now. That she was wearing that Hublot.
Mm-hmm. Thomas says, my Kermit has more than tripled in value. Not unless you sell it and get that money in your pocket. You haven't made any money on that watch unless you actually sell it and get the money. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. It's not so easy to sell these watches. And don't believe those that say it is easy. It's not that easy. You need to add a power watch, Craig, 3-piece collection. Mike Scope in the house is scoping things out. Pretty soon we're going to switch back to the GMT. We're going to do a freeze frame straight at 6 o'clock, straight up. Warren says, buy at the top of the market, then sell when it crashes. Or maybe is it the other way around? Warren says, hey, there you go. That's what most people do. They buy high and sell low. That's how they do on the stock market, too. That's why most people go broke. I have 3 Daytonas with Panda Dial, but I'm not going to sell a single one. He's going to hold on and wait till the market crashes. There you go. That's right. I'd sell now. Get out of those puppies while you can. Let's see. I'm going to switch to my watch here. We're coming up on a minute. In about 20 seconds, it's going to be 1 minute to the hour. And we're going to ride this thing right on through, and I'm going to freeze frame it at 6 o'clock straight up, folks. I'm going to freeze frame everything at 6 o'clock straight up, those of you that are watching.
And one thing, there are some watches there that are ones better than the others, but the best watch that we have on the house is not on that picture. Do you want that I show it?
Sure.
The best one.
Sure.
Better than the date.
Sure.
Yeah.
And put it right next to the date. There we go. Yeah, there we go. He says that one's better than the date. I still,
that is better, or at least more expensive. A bit more expensive.
Yeah, I still like the date though.
Yeah, but you are not a lady.
I understand. I understand. All right, we're coming up on. I'm going to go full screen on the watch here. We're coming up on freeze frame time, folks. Stand by for a freeze frame. In 5, 4, 3, 2, frozen. Okay, we're frozen at straight up 6 o'clock. Now, if you look at that, if you look very closely at that, you would think that the hour hand is a little bit to the right on that hash mark, on the GMT hash mark at the bottom there. Now, see, that's where I'm telling you, you got an optical illusion here, because in real life, it's pointing straight at that marker. It's the angle of the camera that makes it look like it's not. So that's why you can't rely on this sort of thing, right? And the other thing is, even the hour hand, you notice that? I mean, the minute hand, it looks like it's a little bit right of the hash mark, and it's actually closer than that. It's not exactly perfect because I didn't get it exactly perfect when I set it, but it's closer than it appears in the photo. Everything is appearing a little bit off in the photo, and the still frame here, if you will. But in real life, it's not like that. So that's why you can't rely on a photograph or any kind of a camera angle shot of a watch looking at something that's this critical as far as the tolerances here. That's something that's those hash marks are actually pretty small. They're not that big. And so we're talking about a fraction of a millimeter one way or the other, and a little bit of angle to that shot will move it a fraction of a millimeter one way or the other. So that's a perfect demonstration right there. I'm glad we did it. That's a perfect demonstration on how you cannot rely on the on a photograph. Let's see here. A couple of comments in here. The table won't be big enough. I like Carlos's Breguet. Don't see it there though. Okay. I like.
No, these are the watches from my wife.
Okay, I like the OP Oyster Perpetual. I didn't realize that you had a Cartier. Okay, is that your wife's? Yeah, he's saying a lot of these are his wife's watches.
Yeah, that is a Cartier Ballon Bleu on stainless steel. It's not gold.
And Warren says, respect for the man who chooses white gold. Warren in the house. Yeah, I would have gotten yellow gold, but white gold's cool, and he wanted something under the radar, so he has a good reason for doing the white gold. Absolutely. Too bad.
And this one, one from.
And our Cruz says, too bad it scratches if you just look at it. See, that's a myth. The gold watches actually hold up very well. They hold up better than the steel watches, and they look better once they get a patina on them. They look better than a steel watch. A steel watch just looks like a steel watch scratched up. A gold watch looks eat up with class if it gets some patina to it. It looks a lot better. So that's a myth, and that's usually spread by people that haven't owned all gold Rolexes for years, and they don't really know what the drill is with them. They actually hold up very well. Let's see here. Tom in the house. GMT running perfect in and out of the water. Absolutely it is. Oh, let's unfreeze frame that. There we go. We just unfreeze framed it.
But if you want, pass to me, because this one from my wife is white gold.
Okay.
She uses it a lot.
Hold it in center of the camera so we can see it. Okay, there we go. So that one's white gold. Okay.
This is white gold. This is a Rolex Pearl Master. It's not very common, but in fact, I don't know. And you know the bezel with diamonds and the dial with diamonds and mother of pearl.
Oh, very nice. Yes.
It's really a very, very nice watch.
Now, does she wear that a lot?
A lot.
And it looks and it's holding up great, right?
Yeah, and look that the links are polished. Yeah, you can see something but yeah, what I think I would say.
And Warren in the house, he says my white gold Pepsi is 4 years old and still looks new. There you go, Warren, proving that white gold holds up great. Absolutely, it does. Let's see. And Jeff is in the house. Say you buy a watch for $10,000 today and sell it for $10,000 10 years later. You still lost. Absolutely, you lost, because you would have gotten, if you had invested it 10 years, you'd probably have, let's see, 20, maybe 22 grand if you'd invested it properly. So yeah, you lost $12,000. That's right. And Thomas in the house, I would choose the white gold Date 840 over the yellow gold all day long. So much more subtle. I hear you, but I don't, for a watch like that, I don't want subtle. I want the yellow gold, absolutely. And Master Priest bracelet, that's what's on that watch you have there right now, Carlos? Master Priest bracelet?
Yeah, this is a very very nice watch. As you can see, except the balloon blue, and sometimes my wife likes this tag. You know how
Yeah.
the girls
Yeah,
purchase or like the watches
yeah,
because
yeah,
has
yeah.
a lot of little diamonds around.
Lot of bling, lot of bling on it.
Yeah,
And so
yeah, but also it's nice.
True Liberty says a steel watch with lots of wear can look fantastic. It can, but it doesn't look as eat up with class as a all gold watch, especially a yellow gold watch. You get a yellow gold watch with a lot of patina on it. I call it patina, but a lot of dings, a lot of, micro scratches, and just a lot of wear and tear. It just looks eat up with class. I mean, look at the interview they did with Jack Nicklaus in his watch, and how eat up with class that watch is. He's been wearing it for 50 years, for God's sakes. He doesn't baby it at all. They look fantastic, a lot better than any steel watch. There's no substitute for an all gold Rolex, folks. I mean, you can go out and pay a lot of money for a steel Rolex, but you're not getting the same thing as an all gold Rolex. I hate to break the news. But that's what we do here. We break the news on this channel. Our Wags is in the house. I don't buy watches to sell. I buy them to wear for a lifetime. Watches are not investments, and he's in the business. That man is in the business. There you go. You're hearing it from him. Warren Snook, we don't buy watches and investments. We buy them because we are stupid. Warren in the house says we're stupid. There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
I mean, I just like to use the rule of thumb. If you're spending 1 week's salary or income on a watch, that's okay. If you're spending 6 months' salary on a watch, then yes, that you need an intervention. That's a big problem. But anyway, everybody has their priorities.
Another thing, Craig, regarding the new Patek. I am going to make something that I don't know what would you think of it, but I have requested to put it to be in the list for a watch that I don't like, but if it would, I don't like currently. But if it will happen, maybe something to consider. I've asked to be put for a Nautilus, for a blue Nautilus.
A Nautilus, okay.
They say that considering that I have purchased the watch, that it may be 1 to 2 years wait, and then we will see how is the market at that time and what happens.
Yeah. If you can get it and you can flip it for a big profit, I mean that's what I call dealing in watches. That's still not investing in watches. That's sure. Dealing in watches. That's flipping a watch. I mean, there's no problem with doing that. If you can flip a watch and make some money, I mean, I've done it in the past. I did it years ago and from time to time. So, and let's see. Here's a comment. If you scratch it enough, it's going to be a stone washed finish someday. There you go. Interesting collection. All right. We're going to wrap this up. Do you have anything you want to say before we wrap this puppy up?
Nothing. Thank you. Well, just want to say thank you again, and forget that horrible idea. And I am at your disposition to do whatever, because really, I have to say that to me this show is a gift. Every time that you have the show is really a gift and a very nice opportunity to spend the time with nice people.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for coming on, and we really appreciate it. And so you've got a wrench, so go on in there and make a comment in the chat. I want to see that wrench next to your name.
Okay.
All right, Carlos in the house. We're going to let him go, and we're going to get ready to wrap this puppy up here pretty soon. So I've got the diver back on the wrist, and it is functioning properly after the dunking. And here's the GMT. Let's go ahead and do, let's see if we can do a side-by-side here. Let's do it like this. And let's get this lined up right here. And get this lined up right. There we go, so we can see both. And, yeah, it seems to be functioning properly. Everything seems to be functioning properly. And there you go. Carlos has the wrench And a very entertaining show, thanks to you and to Carlos. Well, there you go. And Carlos says 5711 in the chat. Absolutely. So, if I can get these earbuds off. And I'm going to put them back here. Let me think. Steve was doing some testing today, some audio testing. Hopefully he'll be doing a show here pretty soon. He's getting real close. Don't forget to like the video. Yeah, click that little like button, that little thumbs up or whatever, and make sure you click the bell so that you get a notification. And give me an update in the chat. Does the audio still sound good? Does my audio still sound okay? And is there a bunch of noise? Is it clear? Is it a good level? Just give me a little feedback on that. Make sure we got this all adjusted as good as we can get it for now. I was able to watch a bit at work. Thanks for the good show, Lewis. Did you do a cash deal with Steve for the GMT? Yes. I generally do cash deals. If it's under 10,000, I will do a cash deal. If it's over 10,000, you can't really do it because they got to report it, and it's a big hassle and all that. So any transactions under 10,000, I do in cash, and retailers usually appreciate that. Let's see. Today was a fun show. Thanks for the water test. I'm closer to buying the GMT now. Tom Austin is closer to buying that stunning GMT. I don't think you're going to have any problems with it. I think you're going to love it. Absolutely. Let's see. Warren says, great show. Blue Shirt Buddha has an Polar Explorer 2 and absolutely loves it as a daily wearer. Absolutely. Why not? It's a fantastic watch. I'm looking forward to new releases from Omega and Blancpain this Friday when the embargo lifts. Okay. Sound is good, says Mike. I should have the SBGN 005 by this weekend or next week. 2-watch combo with SBGT 241. Warren Snook, I have a 321 Speedy on order. Can't wait. R-Wags, Craig, your show quality is one of the best. No problems, although I'm hoping for an Alvin and the Chipmunks return soon. I don't know how that happened. I wish I could figure out how that happened. That was very strange how that happened. Let's see. A very nice work. Okay, so it sounds like everything's good. So maybe I didn't have to buy that that field mixer. Oh well. That's the way it goes sometimes. We'll have extras. We'll have backups. Backup plans. We'll have backup plans in position. Backup plans at the ready is what we will have. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast, folks, and see what's going on. So, again, like, comment, share, all those good things. Click the little bell so that you'll get a notification. Some people said they didn't get a notification. That bell might be unclicked. Sometimes that's what YouTube does, is they unclick that bell. And so make sure that bell is clicked. So let me go ahead and use the whip on the GS next stream. Test number 2. Well, there you go. The bullwhip test. Yeah, the bullwhip test. And thank you, Carlos. Here we go. We're going to wrap this puppy up.